Too much, Vince. Too much. There was a time where you obviously really cared and obviously had a very clear, distinct vision of where you wanted to take it. And part of that was to do with taking over all of the regions and areas and uniting them under one umbrella and your mighty empire, which is fair enough. You're the guy that did it. How your dad would feel, I don't really know. In a position where twice you've had two serious contenders of competition, which is a good thing, isn't it? Coming from America, the country of capitalism, losing two potential contenders to rival you, and you amalgamating them means that WWE consistently, time and time again, loses its edge. And it's only when you get competition that, in actual fact, WWE starts really paying attention to what it's doing. You are so interested and desperate to get away from the word wrestling and moving into what you call sports entertainment, which in its essence I have no problem with what you want to do. It is wrestling, that is what it is. That is what it has been and what it will always remain to be. But if you're going to go down that route, then surely you've got to work a lot harder on the entertainment aspect. And the entertainment aspect means that you keep your audiences in suspense, like soap manages to achieve to do. You keep your audiences involved, that things aren't too complicated yet are still interesting, that you create what is known as a story arc. You'll notice that shows like Glee, programs like Heroes, programs like even 6 Feet Under managed it for 3 series, have what is known as a story arc. You take a long line of progression and you develop and create believable, real stories that have their highs and have their lows. This is what they call scene dynamic, play dynamic. This is why sequels work. This is why J.R. Tolkien and George Lucas, two-dimensional as it is, and I'm an absolute hero, an absolute worshipper of Star Wars, this is why it works. Because you're taking the story over a long line of progression, you are not instantly gratifying your audience with the prize right the way at the start. This is fundamentally WWE's greatest problem. They have fantastic fireworks. They have amazing music. Whilst they overuse too much generic rock music, and they could diversify that because, of course, there are so many interesting different sounds in the world. There's a lot of good music that's in there and a lot of stuff that I've deliberately bought for my children and made sure that I get my children to listen to. I get my youth here to listen to because it's almost sanitised and slightly safe, that if they want to edge into different things as their teacher, I'm able to do that in what is termed a PG company. You've got an amazing tour system. You've got an amazing setup with Next, an amazing setup with Tough Enough. You've got the Florida circuit, which I know very little about, to be quite honest. But you have all of this structure, all of this juggernaut, all of this arsenal in place, and yet you don't seem to be able to do the simplest things. And the simplest things is creating story arc. Now, I haven't as yet seen them, but I will, and I will make sure that I do go and watch Legendary, the rest of the WWE films. But surely you took on teams of writers that would create something that was consistent and could, one would hope, entertain for over an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. The premise is no different in wrestling, Vince, and you knew this. You knew this a long time ago, and you should go back to it. The second thing that I would also push is, whilst some people would be worried about the sexism in it these days, the racism in it this year, I have to say, as a Brit, the push on Hulk Hogan and the identity with Hulk Hogan against Nikolai Volkov from Russia or the Iron Sheik from Iran, really, as a Brit, helped me unite with another English-speaking country, our special friend, and created a bond, especially whilst I was in Australia, that we were from the same area. We understood each other in the same ways, and a lot of that element has been lost and has been pushed out to the side. I like the idea of the British guys that you've started getting in. I like the fact that one's even mentioned that he comes from Cardiff, just not like the only thing I can get on your game is I can either come from London or Blackpool. Blackpool, really? The place with illuminations and absolutely nothing else. Oh, I'm sorry, no, they have a lot of heroin addicts there as well, yes. You check all those kind of seaside towns, they've all got a lot of fucking smackheads, yeah? Creating that bridge to other audiences is something that you've also begun to lose. And whilst I'll finish this one off relatively quickly, because there's so much more I'm going to be able to talk about with WWE over a period of time, the last thing that I really want to talk about is, and I did this on a video the other day with my son, is this. That used to mean something. That was the undercard, mid-carder's belt. In lots of ways, as important to your company when Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, even the Honky Tonk Man, when they were wearing it, yeah, this was the belt. This was the other one that you could wear. This is a marketing ploy, and funky as it is, and I know I can't get it in the UK and I can't get it over here, the champ, I wonder whose belt is, the champ is here, I wonder whose belt this is, yeah, a spinner, a digitised spinner, yeah, now that's a funky Christmas toy, and I can go with that, but still, Vince, we'll come to what I'm going to say, yeah, a spinner and a spinner, too much, Vince, too much, you need one major title. What would boxing have been like if Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay had had 3 other people pretending that they were like him? It's bad enough that TNA's got it, Vince. You've got 2. Get rid of one of them. Unite them. At WrestleMania, as soon as you possibly can, unite them. Because this used to mean something. This belt, heavyweight champion of the world, even if it's gone through with different guys, there was a Hogan that wore it, and nobody else wore one. Now you've got Orton and Cena wearing one. Make the guys fight. The competition in TNA is there. Amalgamate the 2 shows, which is what you are doing, and get rid of it. Keep one. I don't care which one. Call it WWE because it's your company. Call it World Heavyweight Champion. World Heavyweight Champion. World WWE World Heavyweight Champion. There you go. Solved your problem. Next. They must be spinning in their grave. Tommy Dreamer. The reason I got this is for Tommy Dreamer and because of the rise and the fall of the ECW, and it was silver and my girl prefers silver to gold. A thinner version. A thinner episode. Oh, there's a little girl for a little one. Like I haven't actually managed to get out and get Divas ones yet, yeah? There's 2 of those out there as well now, isn't there? Yeah. Tag team, remember this? You finally saw sense. There's a red one and a blue one. There's a red one and a blue one. There should be 2 people in the tag team champions of the world. Very clear, very simple. Some of the basic problems with the WWE. You must keep the United States Championship. That's fine. You could have 2 or 3 mid-card titles with one at the top and tag team. But too much, Vince. Pull it in, control it, create stories. Start taking a line of the way in which you can develop this. You used to care. Your father used to care. If you don't care, get out, go get competitive at golf, get into politics or something, give it to Triple H and giving it to Stephanie with a supplementary that their children get it as soon as possible, because if they don't care, it must be passed on to someone who cares. But sooner or later, some rich Russian will decide to go to Japan, see something, unite it with Australia, and then try and bring it to Europe. And the day that happens, Vince, you better pray that you are long, long, long gone, and that your grandchildren are long, long, long gone, because your legacy, sooner or later, will be observed. Not TNA. It ain't gonna happen. We know what they should do. Not Ring of Honor. Ain't gonna happen. But one day, someone else will come up with the same idea and do it better. Complacency. Familiarity brings complacency. Familiarity brings contempt. And sometimes I feel, Vince, you treat all us fans with a lot of contempt. We're still buying the product and trying to get our kids into it. Show us this respect that we would show the troops and that you show the troops. This is Stone Cold CVC. That's the bottom line, because I say so.